I was yesterday delivering a closing keynote speech to 300 middle school and high school students. And I was up there, we were doing this exercise of start, stop, continue. So start, stop, continue is this like calibration exercise that you can use to evaluate your performance. Hey, what are behaviors that I should start doing? What are behaviors and leadership principles that I should stop doing? And then what are things I should continue doing, right? And we were doing this exercise, and I could tell that people were not super engaged. So I had a whistle in my blazer. I pull out the whistle, blow the whistle as loud as I could, and people were like, did this. And I was like, that is your call to accountability. No one's coming to your house doing that. No one's coming to you and your bad grades doing that. No one's coming to you after you made a bad decision doing that. I'm doing that to symbolize the fact that you should be doing that for yourself.
All right, about to start. Hey, you're now tuned in to Underdog Talk. I'm your host, Eric Jones Jr., and I have conversations with successful underdogs. And today I have Miss Olivia West.
Hey, I'm happy to be here. Good evening.
Nice. I love your energy. You have the energy for both of us today. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you so much. So we are shooting this on a Monday, right? And so Mondays for me are work from home Mondays most of the time, but it's also get your stuff in a line on Mondays, right? So I, gotta be sure to tip off the week, positive, right?
Yeah.
You start, you pray, you journal, and then you really, get to business.
No, I love it. I love it. Yeah, I got prepared yesterday because it kind of started the work week, but definitely get in order, making sure that you got everything that you need for Monday. Because if you don't attack Monday, the rest of your week be thrown off, and then you blaming Monday, but that's your fault if you didn't attack Monday. So, fun fact.
Fun fact about me. Okay,
Yeah.
So I grew up in a very rural area, and I actually grew up showing horses and showing pigs. So you're probably like, showing horses and pigs, what does that mean? So if anyone's familiar with 4-H at the fair, they have them at county fairs, they have it at state fairs. So I actually did that for 10 years. And I wore my blue jeans and my belt buckle, and I quite literally showed my horses and showed my pigs. And it was thrilling. It was amazing. That's why I'm a competitor, honestly. I think that set up a really competitive environment for me for sport because I competed for so long with livestock.
I love that. I'm not none of that. No horses, no pigs, none of that. I'm just not on none of that. I don't like animals.
Really?
Dogs. That's it. Do I have some on my face?
No, you're
okay. It's the light on the camera. Okay. All right. So a fun fact about me, I wrote it down. Now that I'm older, I cry on movies and shows.
Me too, actually. So in real life, I don't. I'm very non-emotional.
Yeah.
Like I kind of keep it player. I'm boss lady and all that. But I'll be watching a movie, boo-hooing.
Okay, no, I'm not.
But she loved him.
I'm not boo-hooing. But
yes, he is.
Yes,
he is.
So the last show that I can remember, it was something after that, but it was Swagger. You ever watched that? It's like, have you ever watched All American?
Yes, yeah.
It's the basketball version.
Okay.
But it's more realistic. It's on Apple TV. And it just, as a coach, coaching basketball, seeing the players, and it was just moments, and I'm like sitting there, I'm like, dang, I'm really tearing up. But no boo-hoo, no ugly cry. But I do cry, like, as a dad, like, when I see my son do stuff, like, it's like a joy, like a little tear, and I'm like, okay, let me make sure there ain't nobody looking. But I definitely tear up more. I don't know why.
Yeah. But it's important for us to feel our feelings, right? I mean, our emotions are information. They're indicators of how we're doing, how we should respond. And I used to be very apathetic, and now I'm a total empath. I'm like, I'm going to feel my feelings. I got a text message today, and I cut a call. I said, hold on. I can't do this right now. We're going to have to circle back. So I think it's important to feel your feelings. And sometimes if movies draw that out of us, if music does, if sport, I think for me, sport really does. I mean, sport, you don't have to beg me to get excited about a basketball game.
Yeah. Oh, you don't have to beg me at all. I'm going to go. I don't care if it's men, women, little kids, girl. I don't matter. Like, I'm in tune to the game. Like, I'm going to pick maybe one team. And I might be coaching on this. Hey, buddy, hey, come here. Hey, go around here. You open every time. Like, and then they'll listen. They'll be like, I'm like, see, like, it's just in me. I don't know how to control what comes to almost any sport. It don't even matter the sport. Like, I'm in tune. Like, as a kid, I was ESPN. So every morning before school, I'm watching. I'm coming to school. I know the stats. I know who got this. I got that. So that's just in me. As an adult, I kind of don't care about stats no more because that don't really help me. but I still enjoy like the game. I love it, and I'm sorry. I know you have on the Pacers, but my team is the Celtics, and you know what happened last week, 51. That's all I'm gonna say. Sorry.
Well, we are in Indianapolis, Indiana right now, and this is the home of the Indiana Pacers. And we have such an exciting team this year. They're young, but guess what? They're revved up and they're getting after it. And I'm excited to be one of the voices of the Indiana Pacers. So the reason that I'm repping, man, I got this Pacers thing. I have so many, t-shirts, jerseys at home. It's because this is our city, this is our team, and this is our culture. And the fact that I'm one of the voices of that, of the in-game fan experience, is so much fun.
Yeah, I don't like you just crushed everything I had to say about the Celtics, like because we're here, and then you got the voice, and you already let people know. But I'm sure they could tell just by your voice, like you do something with media. Because I got on the phone with her, I was like, "Oh yeah, you are you on the news?" She's like, "No, I'm not on the news. I'm the voice for the Fever and the Pacers." I was like, "Oh yeah, I could tell," and I love your energy because I could see being at the game and you getting the crowd. But I mean. I'm from up north Indiana. So, are you from Indiana?
Yes, I'm also from up north, so I'm from LaPorte.
I don't like you.
Why? Are
I'm
you
from
from
Mich-
City?
Yes.
Come on, that's like right up the street.
Yeah.
We're like
No,
cousins.
we're
No?
rivals. No,
No,
it don't matter.
listen, y'all, it's not a rivalry if you beat them every time. That's not a rivalry, which is exactly what happened in my case. Basketball on lock, LaPorte. Football on lock. Like
So we're
everything.
gonna go off of. I love it. We're gonna go off of the recent Michigan City just beat Laporte. Even though we lost the game after, we beat Laporte 6-5.
How long have you been out of high school,
We're not gonna say how long I've been out of high
Hey,
school.
you've been out of high school a long time. I mean, like I don't care now.
Yeah.
But back when I was there,
What year?
so now everyone's gonna be like, how old is she? So I graduated in 2017.
I don't know. I don't know if my boy Lil Rich, he went to Marquette. He didn't go to Michigan City.
Okay.
Because Marquette won the state. But I don't keep up. I don't have little cousins or nothing. It's like I know certain people, but yeah, we do not. Michigan City don't mess. And my dad live in LaPorte. I do not mess with LaPorte. We do not mess with them slicers. I didn't know you was from there. But so you from
Y'all,
up
is
north?
this a hostile environment?
No, it's not a hostile environment, and we're gonna get into what you and all that. But I didn't know you was from LaPorte. I might have been like, I don't know, like you're a slicer.
A slicer,
But,
yeah. Listen, small town girl, right?
Yeah.
Small town values, but that town, that little city loved me so well. I am telling you, I've had people just steward me and shelter me and help mentor me even to this day.
Mhm.
Like this week, actually, praise God, my pastor growing up is coming down to Indianapolis to catch the game on Thursday.
Oh, that's tight.
Yeah, so
That's
I mean,
tight.
that's family, that's community. No
So
matter where you go, the ability to stay connected and support one another.
So you know about King for Hikes?
Yeah, uh-huh.
That's where my grandma, my dad. So my biological dad died, but my dad, who helped raise me, my sister's dad, that's where his family's from, and we used to go there all the time. Like, yeah, when I was little. You might not have even been born yet. I don't know. I'm a little older, but yeah. So let's get into your background, you slicer. I don't. Ooh, what?
Yeah. All
It's
right,
usually a
let's
rival.
like move past that.
Yeah,
It's
okay,
okay.
we'll move
So-
past because you have on Pacers and we are in Indianapolis. But you should know, growing up north, we didn't watch the Pacers. They didn't come on TV.
Correct. Yeah, I mean, it was more like Bulls territory, I feel like, because we're like an hour from Chicago. Yeah. And what actually, last thing before we move on, people who lived where we lived and then say they are from Chicago.
Oh,
No, you're not.
No,
you are not from Chicago.
Just rep the 219. It's the region. It's cool. We're
Yeah.
the best region. I mean, we're
Yep.
the best in Indiana. But let's get into your background.
Yeah.
So, excuse me. Tell us a little bit, because you're still young, so I ain't gonna say go way, way back. Like teenage years to like college. How was it for you? What did life look like?
Yeah, so being a teenager was such a joy.
Mhm.
Honestly, when I look back at high school, when I look back at my development, I just smile because I have such fond memories of that. So I went into high school and I was a really good student, really strong student. I would say like A average, a B, in some of the math and science.
Mhm.
And I remember so badly wanting to be good at math.
Mhm.
Like I wanted to be good at the things that I was not naturally good at.
Mhm.
And I had to study really hard, but guess what? I still got those grades, and God blessed me with a full ride scholarship to Purdue University.
Oh my goodness. I forgot
What?
you.
Oh my goodness.
My sister went to IU. My daughter's at IU.
Hey, listen, Purdue threw me a bag, and I said, boiler up, right? Sometimes you got to go where the money, I'm just trying to make it make sense. Anyway, so in high school, I was super outgoing. So I was the student section leader. Like, I was crazy. I had a cowbell. I swear I used to hit the cowbell on my head, and I would lead these crazy chants. And so there were already some indicators that I would be doing what I'm doing now. But you can only connect the dots looking backward, not forward, right? And so I was student section leader. I was a mediocre athlete at best, okay? My junior and senior year, I finally got some playing time because I, played good defense, hustled, and I was always really, really outgoing and energetic. So got some really good playing time, won sectionals both junior and senior year, so I had a lot of fun doing that. And then, the whole time showing my animals, showing my horses, showing my pigs. And I think the biggest thing that, growing up did for me is it allowed me to have a community that really cared about me and poured into me. I grew up with a single mother, amazing mother, Kathy. She is such a gem. And to this day, my biggest supporter. She drives down to Indianapolis 2.5, 3 hours, sometimes really frequently if I need help with something. And she has just been so amazing. Anything I do, anything I dream about or think about, she's like, yes, baby girl, yes, praying for me, covering me, trying to connect me. And so that's been amazing. And the rest of my family, they just always encourage me and love me. And I think when you're encouraged and you're loved, you can do anything. I've never been told that I can't. I've never been told that. And even a couple of people who did say, oh, like, I don't know about that for you, I didn't listen to them. You got to have tunnel vision. Just like horses, you remember, like, sometimes in movies, horses will wear the blinders. That's how I felt growing up. There were kids making really bad decisions. I'm not going to lie to you. I remember I was 15, 16 years old, and I was a little soft when I was a child, okay? My mom didn't shelter me, but I definitely did have a little bit of sheltering, right? And I remember some of my friends were making bad decisions. People were smoking, people were drinking. To this day, I don't do either of those things, right? And I remember I was at FCA, Fellowship of Christian Athletes, because I was an athlete and I've been a believer in Jesus Christ for my whole life. And I was sitting there one day, and I was like, if I don't get out of this situation around these friends, I'm going to fall into it. So this is my way out. And I accepted Jesus, started going to church, got baptized, read that Bible from cover to cover. Today, the biggest trophy I ever have received was actually for FCA. Like, despite all the rest of my accomplishments, it was like this big, like, member of the year for FCA. I was a chaplain of my FFA chapter. I was a president of FCA. So I've just always had so much covering and provision over my life because of Jesus Christ. And so that's really the root of my life. And even though I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do professionally, I knew who I am in Christ, and I know whose I am. Everything else, that will come and go. But you know what? I know whose I am. And so that's why I can walk into any room and be confident, not in my skill or my intellect, but I can be confident in my character, and I can be confident in who Jesus has made me to be.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Shout out to your mom. My mom's the same way. Like, she gonna figure it out. She gonna find out how she can get down here. If somebody got to ride with her, like, she's my biggest supporter. She always commenting on Facebook, everything. Like, she share every video I put out. So shout out to moms that still support their grown kids, because some parents don't. I love that you were. I was opposite. I was not a good kid. I was doing bad stuff, and I was a regular boy. Like, I want to do what I want. Like, if I get in trouble, I get in trouble, but I just wanted to do what I want, and I just enjoyed having that freedom. And it's like, as a kid, you don't really have to worry about too much. But I love that you were positive. You just have, like, that energy was always there. Like, and then you even accept it. You're like, okay, I'm not that great, and I don't need to be a hooper. I can, do something else. And yeah, you got good grades, and you wanted to. That I love that for you, because it wasn't. I didn't care. Like, I'm just gonna fly through.
Yeah, well, I think that also, I had a lot to lose. I think that's why I was so obedient, and I think even to this day, that's why I'm still so obedient, because I got a lot to lose. I remember there was one point in my teenage years that I was not being the most obedient, and my mother, who blessed me with a car, obviously blessed me with, horses. That's a privilege, right?
Yeah,
I remember she slapped the car keys out of my hand. She made me take for sale pictures of my horse. I'm standing there crying, like taking for sale pictures of my horse, and she's like, this is what bad behavior gets you. And so that's why I've just always been obedient, because I got a lot to lose. And I know a lot of people listening to the podcast right now. You're so valuable, and so I'm encouraging you. Do what you got to do to become who you need to become, because you got a lot to lose. You really have a lot to lose. You have so much potential, and we don't want that potential to be unrealized. People say that the richest place in the world is the graveyard. Why? Because people die with their potential. People die with their gifts. I want to die like just absolutely empty. Why? Because I gave it out.
Yep.
I gave it out. I gave every last bit, every drop of what I have to others.
I love it, and that's exactly it. And I mean, I had a lot to lose, I guess, saying that, but I just didn't. I didn't put two and two together, like until I got grown, until I realized, like, oh yeah, like if you don't do what you need to do, like you're just gonna be stuck. It was really when I had my son, and he came out, and I was like, okay, this person depends on me, like for everything, like to walk, talk, all these things, and it like helped me change. So I'm glad that you're younger than I was when I realized when the light bulb came on, because sometimes it don't happen right away. And I love that you said you were never told no. And sometimes being a parent now, it's like, I don't know, I want to be that way, but then you want your kids to understand, but that helped you, like, okay, I don't know what that means. I'm gonna figure it out and I'm gonna get around it. So I love that you're able to have that positive perspective, and you've had it for a while. It doesn't seem like it just, the light bulb just came on for you. So I love that. So we have a segment called You Won't Believe This. And You Won't Believe This is you seeing some crazy stuff happen to you. Your friend and told you a story, something, um, hmm, you won't. No, I ain't gonna say that because people will know. Trying to think of a You Won't Believe This that just happened.
I actually have a really good one.
Go ahead.
Okay, so I was a sophomore at Purdue University, and I'm going to be really hot right now, humble, open, and transparent. I struggled academically my first year at Purdue, so much so that I was actually on academic probation, and unless I got my grades up, I was out. Oh, wow. Again, I had a lot to lose, so I had to kick it back into gear, right? I was in the basement studying for my final exams during the semester that I needed to really, get my butt into gear, right? And I was really discouraged. Again, it was like a really big exam that was not an area that I was super strong in academically. And I had this vision. I literally have had this vision clear as day. And it was me being introduced as an international businesswoman. And I kid you not, I'm like one of the only ones in the library. I get up out of my chair and I'm like, I'm going to be an international business. I'm like, what's that even mean? Up until that point, I'd never left the country. So how crazy is it to think that I would be an international businesswoman? I hadn't been anywhere international, and I was hardly studying business. Like I studied agricultural economics, but that wasn't like business. It had business aspects of it. So God gave me that vision when I was a sophomore at Purdue. Fast forward 5 years later, this was actually earlier in 2023. I'm in Lisbon, Portugal, sitting in my hotel room, quite literally an international businesswoman. I was about to go on stage in front of my whole team, and I'm up there in my suit, and I start getting emotional. You won't believe this. It happened. I got a vision 5 years ago, and then here I am 5 years later in a hotel room, a nice hotel. When I travel, I stay in cool places. Sometimes hostels. And, it depends because you travel a lot and you're balling on a budget. But anyway. That was amazing. Like, you won't believe what God did to complete the vision, to complete the story. When I started being an MC, people ask me all the time, Olivia, like, how did you get that opportunity? Y'all really want to know? I asked. That's it. I asked. And the first time I asked, they said no. And you know what no means? Next opportunity. And so I took my next opportunity. I just asked again the next year. I just asked somebody different. Right, someone in more of a position of authority. I asked her, the answer wasn't no that time, was it? The answer is like, here you go, Olivia. Here's a mic. Here's credentials. A couple of days later, I'm on the court. So you won't believe what God can do if you stay obedient you continue doing the work and continue adding value to people.
I love it. I love it. Let's see. I was. Let's see. Let's see. You won't believe. Um. What was I? I was gonna say that. I think I said it before. So I'm gonna go a different route. When I was a kid, I used to be at my grandparents' house all the time, and they lived in like the old folks projects. So it was like the apartments like on one side, and then you had to cross like the boulevard in Michigan City, and it was a corner store. So I'm out there with some other kids, and I dial 911, hang up the phone, think nothing of it, just out there. Here come a police officer. I'm sitting out there. I'm like, they like, who did it? Ooh, not me. I'm one dude. It was him over there. You little mother love, you even snitched on me. They didn't went to my grandma's house. Like next time you could go to jail, and it was like, oh, that really happens. Like as you see it, and you don't think it. That's what I did it for. I was like, oh, ain't nothing gonna happen. And this Joker, I ain't gonna say his name because he's still cool, but I still remember. I don't mess with him to this day just because he snitched on me as a kid. Like I'm cool, cordial with him, but I still remember who it was. I'm like, why would you tell? Like nobody was gonna get in trouble. Like why? Like why would you do that? Like I just didn't understand. I was mad. We definitely lived on different sides of the tracks. He was a good kid. I definitely was into trouble all the time.
Oh boy.
Trouble found me. It was like uh Eric did it. It just was easy to say I did. But funny thing is, my sister's name is Olivia, and so it was always Eric and Olivia, and it was always Eric that did it. It was always Eric.
That's funny. Yeah, I mean, I don't have any siblings, so there was no one else to blame.
I was going to ask you if you had
Yes,
any.
if someone's out of place, Olivia did it, or Olivia didn't do it. But I think that that's really allowed me to have a very high level of accountability. I think we think of accountability as being responsible to other people, but we should really have accountability to ourselves, right? I was yesterday delivering a closing keynote speech to 300 middle school and high school students. And I was up there, we were doing this exercise of start, stop, continue. So start, stop, continue is this like calibration exercise that you can use to evaluate your performance. Hey, what are behaviors that I should start doing? What are behaviors and leadership principles that I should stop doing? And then what are things I should continue doing? Right? And we were doing this exercise, and I could tell that people were not super engaged. So I had a whistle in my blazer. I pull out the whistle, blow the whistle as loud as I could, and people were like, did this. And I was like, that is your call to accountability. No one's coming to your house doing that. No one's coming to you and your bad grades doing that. No one's coming to you after you made a bad decision doing that. I'm doing that to symbolize the fact that you should be doing that for yourself. No one else is going to do it for you. No one else is going to get up early or stay up late or pay your bills or open doors. You have got to do it. And so, these middle school and high school students, I said, right now is your call to accountability. These things that you've written on your paper, keep those promises that you made to yourself. Everyone wants to be confident, right? And people ask all the time, like, how can you be so confident? For me, confidence is keeping the promises I made to myself. Like, if I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it. And if I don't do it, my confidence shrinks because, well, last time I didn't do it. Well, guess what? If you are breathing right now, you got breath in your lungs and blood pumped through your veins, you got another day. You got another chance to keep the promises you made to yourself. And honestly, that's something that I've not always been great at, but I'm getting a lot better at, right? I think anything worth doing is going to be hard, but it's going to be worth it. I've never talked to anyone that's like, oh, I regret starting that business.
Yeah.
Or I regret taking a risk on myself or someone else. It's the, I wish I would have. It's the, well, back in my day, things weren't as available. Well, they are today.
Yeah.
And guess what? You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take.
Yeah, I love that. Confidence for me was the basketball court. Once I knew, like, I was that dude on the basketball court, I translated to life. Like, I've overcame so much stuff, and I think the more confidence was getting the surgeries and getting, like, my hand mobility and it's like, okay, if I can dominate over here, I can dominate over here. I just got to make the adjustments to figure out what to do over here because I'm always going to show up. Like, it don't matter what's going on in life, I'm going to show up. And that's part of having confidence is just showing up. Just showing up. It don't matter if you never been in that room, people don't look like you, it's your first time, just show up. And if you uncomfortable, that means you're supposed to be in the room. And then you open your ears and your eyes and see what's going on and listen and take notes. You be quiet. You gotta learn. That's how you gain confidence. You don't just, you have it, but you gotta learn it from somebody else. Sitting right here next to you, anybody listening, they gonna get some confidence just because they can tell you got confidence. You not faking it. You not on here. It's not just your the media voice. This is who you are, and they can take that confidence. The way that I talk, I don't have the little man syndrome. I just talk loud. That's just been me my whole life. But the way I come and the way I walk in the room, I walk with confidence. You have to. It's just it has to be in you. It's not watching a video on YouTube. It's not none of that. It's like the confidence has to be in you when you look in the mirror and you look at yourself and say, "Yeah, I'm him. I'm her. I got this." Cause life gonna punch you, like you said. Life gonna punch you. It's gonna steal on you, hands, feet, knock you down, beat you down. You gonna be like, "What am I supposed to do?" Get back up and throw your hands and throw your feet because life is hard. But if you have that confidence, like, okay, adversity, whoop-de-doo. I had adversity last year. I had adversity yesterday. You're not about to stop me today. That's where the confidence comes from. So it looks different. I'm more of a rah, rah, rah to show my confidence. That's just me. She's calm, cool, just got the nice
Oh,
exciting.
no, I'm not. No, I'm wild. I'm yeah. Like you should see me at a fever game when it's tight and we're about to. Oh my goodness, I go crazy. Like the next day, I get a migraine so bad that I'll wake up at 10 a.m. No, I'm a fan, and that's the thing though. I'm authentic. I'm completely myself. I was actually at We Brunch yesterday. Shout out to We Brunch and the organizers. There's some amazing women. And I'm rowdy, right? Because I'm into sports. So the ladies are up there. I'm like, yeah! I'm like, oh, that's not appropriate for this venue, right? At a sports venue, it is. But that's the thing. You got to be yourself. Because God can only bless who you are and not who you pretend to be. Right? And there are so many, people who are like trying to keep up this image or like trying to keep up this brand. I'm like, you need to be yourself. That's the best brand you can possibly be. You need to tell your story. That's the best story you can possibly tell. And honestly, someone asked me, when do I feel most myself? I feel most myself when I have a microphone in my hand in front of thousands of people. Isn't that crazy?
I love it.
I feel most myself there because you know what? I've been doing that for a long time. So like quick fun story. Told you I had horses, right? So at the horse barn, horses eat hay. And then the hay bales are quite large, right? And they're very heavy. And so you stack them up because that's the only way to store them. So they would be stacked up. And I would go up there either in the hay loft or I would stack them all up. And I would use that as my stage. And we had a big sound system in the barn because the barn had a big indoor arena. The indoor arena is a little bit bigger than like 2 basketball courts. That's where we would ride inside when it was, inclement weather. And I would stand there. I would talk. I would preach, I would teach. I had been doing that for years. So my pattern's been the same. I enjoy communicating. I enjoy inspiring. I enjoy informing. I was just doing it with the horses back then, and now it's real people, which is a lot more fun. But it's been in me for a long time.
Yeah.
Sure, I've got these titles on me right now, but it's not what's on you, it's in you.
Yeah.
And that was something in me. The thing God, He planted it there and allowed me the platform to mobilize it. Because now I can bless others.
Yeah, that I love that. That's how I was like when it came to like basketball. Like I'm thinking I'm in front of crowds, so I was always ready. I never got to make it to the big crowd. I do remember playing in high school twice, and it was like cool to do that. But just thinking back, like the way I would talk, like that's how I am now. Like I'm not nothing different than when I was a kid. I've been using 4-letter words and talking crazy since like I can remember, and I always was the voice for people. And I remember that like I'm gonna say what you want to say, but you're scared to say it. Like I would love to go in meetings at jobs I work at because I'm gonna say what everybody else is scared to say. I'm going to question why you're doing that. And that's always been me. And that's just how I am now. Like, I'm going to, like, I build a platform for myself so I can say what the people want to hear. When I do a video, I'm saying what people want to hear or things of that sort. And that's just always been me. But the crazy thing, I love kids. So I speak, I mentor, I coach. but I've been doing that since a kid.
Exactly.
I've been helping other kids and being that person that looks out for kids since I've been a kid, and that's just always, and that's who I am to this day. Yeah. Like, it don't matter where I'm at. If a kid come up, their parents gonna be like, "Do you know him?" No, it's cool. Kids love me. That's just how it is. And looking back on that, it's like, wow, it's always been in me. It's just you had to figure out how to use it. Like, I love, like, you have that gift, and it's always been in you. You just don't know where it's at. And a lot of times your gift don't have nothing to do with your mama, your daddy, your grandma, your cousin, any of that. It has something to do with you. Like, you gotta stop teaming up with your homies, your day ones, because they do something. Maybe that ain't for you. Maybe it is for you. Maybe you're not supposed to be the rapper. Maybe you're supposed to be the videographer. Maybe you're supposed to be the graphic designer. And you don't know it because you want to, oh, well, this is what bro said. No, your gift is different. We both do similar things. We use our voice, but it's different. My gift is different than hers. We talk to kids. I work with kids. She work with kids. It's different, but we both have a gift that's gonna help the world. And you just gotta realize what your gift is and stay in your lane. Because everybody want to go to somebody else. Stop swerving. Stay in your lane. If you slow, stay in the slow lane. If you don't know how to drive in a fast, scoot on over because you in the way. Like, make sure that you know what your gift is and you use it. It's in you. It's been in you since day one, since you've been born. And I promise it's in you. Like, it's going to be ugly. It's going to be days you like, oh, fuck this. I'm throwing in the towel. It's over with. Like, no, I'm done. Because I'm sure there's been days where you're like, oh, I don't know. I've definitely had those days recently because life was lifing. And I'm like, okay, is this really meant for me to do what I'm supposed to do? And I don't know. And you just got to keep going. But your gift is in you from the day you was born, the day, it was before that. It was when you was in your daddy, nutsack or whatever, and God had made you, and now you got created. It's there. You just got to figure it out.
And scripture says we're fearfully and wonderfully made.
Yeah.
For what? For a purpose, on purpose. And so it's our mission to figure out what that purpose is, to really dive deep. And Oprah Winfrey says it's our responsibility to fulfill our highest, truest calling, right? So what is that? If we're not even asking those questions, it's going to be incredibly difficult to understand what the answer is. But I'm in pursuit. I'm on the journey. And, people ask me all the time, like, what do you want to do? I'm like, I'm not exactly sure yet, but I'm actively trying to figure it out. Yeah. I'm moving. Your gift will make room for you. But once it does, you got to commit to getting in that room and do something. Speak up, use your voice, use your gifts, use your talents, volunteer your time sometimes, because you never know what could possibly come of it.
You never know. You never know. You never know what room, or you never know who's in another room that can say your name to help you get in the room. So you always got to be you. Like, don't change up. Like, I'm me. As soon as I wake up, I'm Eric until I go to sleep. Like, be yourself. Everybody didn't like Jesus. Everybody's not going to like you. There's billions of people on the planet. There's going to be a community for you. There's going to be people that are going to pour into you, those strangers. They're going to put money in your pocket. Like, just be yourself. Be authentic. Like, it's okay to be you. Like, you ain't got to be like, in high school, the cliques, everybody was the same. We dressing the same. I never wanted to dress like anybody else. I promise, like, when I was in school, I was me. I'm like, oh, everybody wear Jordans? Nah, I'm good. I don't want to wear. Everybody got Forces? Nah, I'm good. You just have to be yourself. So, what does a typical day look like for you?
A typical day for me looks like waking up in the morning. I'm not like a super, super early riser. Let me preface that, because a lot of people are like, you better get up at 6, you got to work out. No, like, you honestly don't need to do any of that. But you do need to make your bed. Honestly, that is a call to action. I am really encouraging anyone listening to the podcast, if you don't already make your bed in the morning, please make your bed. Because guess what? No matter what happens during the day, you can come back to a made bed. And that makes you feel a whole lot better than a messy bed. There is nothing worse than having a messy day and a messy bed. At least if you got a messy day, you can come home to a really nice, well-made bed. But I would say for me, so I wake up in the morning between 6 and 7 a.m. I do my devotion immediately. So right now I'm reading a devotion out of a book called It's Still Possible. And it's just godly encouragement for each and every day. And today was about wisdom and about, with all that getting understanding. Amen. Right? Because we get a lot of things. We get a lot of money. We get a lot of bills. We get a lot of drama. But with all that get some understanding. Right? So that's what I do. And I really look forward to my devotion. And what I do is I have a journal and I write the date. So today, as we're recording this on November 6th, 2023. I write Monday morning, and I quite literally write a little note to myself. Or it kind of mimics like a news article. I'm like, hi, happy Monday. I'm so blessed to be alive and awake today. And then maybe I'll like recap the weekend, because I don't journal on the weekends. Like, we all need a break sometimes, right?
Yep.
And so I do not journal on the weekends, but during the week I do. So I write a little note to myself, and then I say, my devotion today is encouraging me with the scripture. I'll say what it, makes me think of, and then I'll do a little prayer list. Like, honestly, today I think I prayed for alignment, obedience, and opportunity. And to spend a few minutes praying over those things and meditating on those things, and then I close my journal and whip out my laptop and get cracking, whatever that looks like. Like I said, Mondays I usually work from home. Fridays I usually work from home. But on my lunch hour, I'm out and about. I am out and about. And it was amazing today. I told you this when I came in, but I went out just to get a little grocery run. I came back and someone mowed my yard, cleaned up my leaves. Like, isn't God great?
Yeah.
That's amazing. So my average day, that's what it looks like. So I will work a full 9 to 5, because I do have a 9 to 5. At 5, I'm done. I'm done with what they want me to do, and I turn on Olivia West. I turn on what I need to do. So let's say it's a game day, right? I have a game this week. So if the game tips off at 7 p.m., I'm there at 5:30. Right? I'm going through the script. I'm making sure that I know where all the hits are at. Like, okay, you got to be up in section 200, or you got to hit in 100, or hey, you got to be on the court. You got to know those things, because you got to plan, you got to strategize. And so on game days, that's what that looks like. But every day after work, I commit to doing at least one thing that's going to make me better, make my business better, make my relationships better, make my friendships better. And so actually today, the reason I have to go is it's one of my best friends. Not her birthday, but she's like a really stellar athlete, and she has like a whole day in her town that's allocated to her. So I gotta get back to the crib, because I like surprise her with little things. So make it time for relationships. Friendships is really, really important. So I do a lot of networking events. I also MC and announce a lot of events. So I'm just always trying to stay on top of things and staying active. I don't spend a lot of time at my house, honestly. Like, I get up, I do what I got to do. I use it as a tool. I use it as a place to rest. But I hardly never sit on my couch. I actually just got a television this year after not having one for 6 years. I did not have a TV for 6 years, and I got one, and it's crazy. It makes me feel low. But I'm having trouble using it because I just haven't had one in such a long time. But I listen to a lot of podcasts. I read a lot of books, too. So I read right before I go to bed. Every day. I had this joke in college that like real baddies have books and book lights, because I have like a book light, and I'd be in there, getting some knowledge. But that's what my average day looks like. And then on the weekends, I usually do maybe something fun. So I like to ride my bike. So I have a road bike that I like to pedal really fast on, and then I wear like usually clothes that match my bike. So I'm one of those. I travel a lot. So I've been to more than 15 countries. I've been to many continents. Right now I'm in a season, though, I'm kind of sitting down and just doing work. But most of the time I'm on go. Like, I love to catch multiple planes a month. And I just like to explore. I like to hike. I like to bike. I like to walk and talk. And I like to eat at restaurants. But I'm kind of starting to cook now. I'm not great at it. But the biggest room in the world is room for improvement, right? So that's what life looks like lately.
I love it. I'm not a fan of the kitchen. I can cook. I just don't like to, because I had to do a lot of cooking as a kid. So I'm just got a new place, and I got to get my stuff, and I think I'm going to cook a little more. So
there you go. Yeah. And congratulations on the new spot.
Thank you.
That's a new beginning.
Yeah.
And I'm praying over that place and space for you. I know not too long ago, I was blessed with a new house, and I remember the first night in my house, I was sitting there. I was actually crying, because I was just so grateful and so thankful, because, having access to a place that's going to be safe, not just physically, but psychologically, is a privilege.
Yes.
It really is.
Yes.
Stuff's expensive. The market is awful, right? So the fact that we have a space to dwell, and that God gave us that, honestly, I bought this house, and it's a multi-unit place, which is what I've always wanted, right? Because I make it make sense, right? I'm a businesswoman. But anyway, I love this house. I remember the first time I went inside of it. Mind you, I was not looking for a house. I happened to be driving around, saw this house, went inside. I felt peace the whole time I was there. Even through all the processes and all the papers, I felt peace. And if you're trying to calibrate whether something's for you or not, if it's causing you stress, anxiety, anger, I'm going to say that's probably not for you. But if you're maybe a little nervous, but you still feel peace, maybe it's like financially stretching you, but for some reason God's still giving you peace, keep going. Keep going. So that's what I'm enjoying right now.
I love that because I needed to hear that because, yeah, you're right. Like, having your own place, because I was couch surfing for a little minute, and it's like, I don't got everything I need, but I got something to lay my head on, and it's like, whoo, this is mine. Like, I'm chilling. Like, I love it. Like, I'm like you. I'm not at home much. Like, I'm on the go.
Yeah.
I'm in the season of on the go, so I'm not really home. So when I get there, it's like,
Yeah.
I can eat and go to sleep and wake up and shower to go get out the house. Like, but I love what you said, how you start your morning and just your routine. I can see your discipline because that's a lot of successful people are disciplined, and you have to have a routine. You have to know. I wish I could like cut off at the time I'm supposed to get off. It just don't happen that way. But you're like 5, boom,
Yeah.
and then you cut on you. And a lot of people don't understand that. When you get off that 9 to 5, if you want more in life, you got to cut on you.
Yeah.
Because you've worked for somebody else. You gave them your time. Now you got to fit it in. It's hard and you're going to be tired. You ain't going to get no sleep, but it's going to pay off.
Absolutely. Yeah. That 5 to 9 is real. And sometimes it's a lot longer than 9. Sometimes it's 10, 11, 12 because you're having meetings, you're getting information, and then you got to take massive action. People are like, oh, can I get coffee with you? What are you going to do with the information I gave you? Because I promise if it stays in the coffee shop, I'm not pulling up. If it stays in the phone conversation, I'm not having it. Right? What are you going to do with what you got? Because until you do something with that and produce results with that, why would you ever get more? Right?
I love it. So you've been dropping gems the whole time, but 3 tips for people that are underdogs and just underdog. I feel like you got something for somebody. Like I don't know what they're doing. They're just underdogs, and life is life right now. 3 tips.
Yeah, 3 tips for the underdog. Number 1, under promise, over deliver, and exceed expectations. That's like all one right there. Okay, you don't have to go around telling people who you are and what you do. You need to prepare your heart and prepare your mind for what you're about to do. Right? I had to practice who I wanted to become. I was really strong in high school, went to college, was not really academically strong anymore. So I had to reinvent. Okay, so under promise, over deliver, and exceed expectations. I think number 2, you got to get connected. You got to get connected to someone or something that's life-giving. Okay, every single thing in our life, we can go and label it as a net gain or a net loss. Is this person, is this conversation, is this place and space adding to you, or is it taking away? I know everyone says that, but actually do it. Get really, really critical about where you go. Like, if we're being honest, does going to the club or the bar add to your life or take away? I'm not just talking about money. I'm talking about energy. I'm talking about peace. I'm talking about prosperity, right? Does going to church or being in a godly community, does that add to you or take away from you? Right? Your friends. Look at the 5 people you spend the most time around. You're the average of them. Where are they going? What's their trajectory? The last 5 people that I texted that are in my phone right now, I would trade places with any of them. You know why? Because they're amazing. They're excellent. They're God-fearing, and I respect them. So yeah, number 1, under promise, over deliver, exceed expectations. Number 2, get around good people in good places and good spaces that net add to your life. And then I think number 3, continue to be strong in who you are and remember whose you are. I know that not everyone listening to this podcast is a believer, but I'm saying you got to find something. You know, life is rough, and tough times don't last, but tough people do. And I know that I get my toughness and I get my strength from the sword of the Spirit and the helmet of salvation, which is our Lord Jesus Christ. So those are my 3. So if you're an underdog, under promise, over deliver, exceed expectations, get around people, places, and spaces that are good for you. And then number 3, remember whose you are.
I love all 3 of those. Tell people how they can reach you, and then we need a quote.
Yeah, so you can reach me at liv_west_ on Instagram. So LIV_WEST_ on both Instagram and X or Twitter, whatever. Also Facebook. I'm on Facebook a lot too. I would also really encourage you to connect with me on LinkedIn. Y'all, I love LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the professional plug,
Yeah.
right? Getting deals, telling your story, sharing your story. So connect with me on LinkedIn. And then I would also say just pull up to an event. I mean, I'm based here in Indianapolis. So you'll likely see me out and about at Indianapolis professional events, but I'm all over the place. Like I'm in Chicago, I'll be in New York. I'm about to start my world tour again soon. So, just tap in. If you have a question, if you have a comment, shoot. If you just want to encourage me, I would love that. If you have constructive criticism, drop it, right? Because you can only manage what you measure. And so
Mm.
come to Pacer games next season, come to Indiana Fever games, and just continue being the best you can possibly be. The last quote that I'm going to leave you with is honestly one that I cited yesterday. Malcolm X said it. The future belongs to those who prepare for it today. I'm preparing for the future. I'm preparing for tomorrow. I'm galvanizing my skills. I'm treating people right because I'm preparing for tomorrow. A better tomorrow and a brighter tomorrow that I know it's going to require me and my gifts and skills to make bright. So that's what I'm doing. Thank you so much for having me. God bless you, this podcast, this platform, and everyone who is listening right now. I pray God's continued provision and blessing over your life. Go out and become who you've always wanted to become.
Keep being great.